Okay.
So everything, and then that internet access is secure.
All right.
And then that is what...
Where is it warehoused?
It's warehoused in Abuja, in our head office. We have a data center there. And there's a backup also.
Somewhere else.
Let me ask Ajia. Those who are, because there we see that you have to, your fingerprints, your thumbprints. Those who are physically challenged, how do you do that?
Yes, we have a standard for that. Our software is able to capture the disabled. We either use their palm impression, and when they get to the center, an enrollment officer does not have the prerequisite to rule them out as this. He has to escalate it to his supervisor. Yes, a picture is taken of the finger. If and when we are doing verification services, we use the facial or the iris, as it may be. Yes.
But in this case, that's when they meet with your enrollment officers.
Yes.
What about if they have to, because some persons there had to go to the internet first and foremost?
No, that biometric is not taken there. It's demographic.
Is an option. It's only for...
Not mandatory.
Yes.
And it's demographic only.
And then for those who are not literate,
you go to our offices.
If
we
have
people that assist you.
You'll be assisted in the office. So
and we always encourage you to go with a relative that is literate, because we don't want you to say we've submitted what is wrong. So you need somebody that you trust to go with you.
For the amputees, the standard, just to add to what she said, the standard is that once the enrollment officer has confirmed that, I mean, visual inspection will enable you to do that, you then click a certain provision in the solution that sort of triggers the entire solution to set it up for enrolling amputees. And then the questions will be taken. And so you cannot enroll a normal person as an amputee, because there's a point at which you will take some picture that will enable us add to the documentation that you have enrolled an amputee.
But for those who, this is a separate aspect now in terms of if you gather all this data, because people think, yes, you have to go and get all this information, but what about if someone within your agency or elsewhere misuses the data that they have? How do you check
What's
that?
the protection?
So you're talking of privacy of personal information. There is currently an effort to ensure that we improve the level of data protection. We tried to get a law enacted in the last National Assembly, and we're going to continue that effort now. But within global best practice, when you are talking of national or digital identity, what we have done is to subscribe to the International Standards Organization Information Security Management Policy Implementation and Compliance levels that enables us to even obtain a certification, yes, that we have complied. So what this does is it enables us to track who is doing what at any point in time, and at anywhere. Okay. Secondly, there are levels of controls. For instance, I cannot, as a chief executive, enter any of the data centers. And yet, I'm the chief executive.
As an enter the system.
I cannot enter any system,
center,
for instance, and I give all the approvals.
Okay.
There are such checks and balances. If you're on afternoon duty, because we run shifts in our data center, is 24/7. If you're on afternoon duty and you come in the morning, you cannot gain access to the data center.
Pardon me, Boston. I think there's Darkney calling from Port Harcourt. Good morning, and could you go ahead with your question?
Good morning, sir.
Go ahead, please.
No. Where is the office in Port Harcourt?
Goodness me.
All right.
Is that the question you have?
No, not yet. And secondly, my colleague did was told that if you use this ID card to go and do bank verification, that the bank does not accept the card. And secondly, I want to know if the card do have whereby my data, if I can use it as a bank transaction, like an ATM card or something.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think it's Romolu Road, they call it. It's a major street.
Yeah.
And it's next to, our office is next to the INEC office. I would encourage you to go on the website. You can do your pre-enrollment, so you have a feel. You can use your telephone if it's a smartphone, so you'll be able to do the pre-enrollment, the demographic enrollment. Secondly, the card is a chip-based card, in which case it has a chip or microchip, like you describe it, on the card. And some of the information that we'll collect from you, we collect in excess of 30 fields, but about 9 fields are stored on the card, on the chip on the card securely, and that's why we say the card is one way of carrying part of your identity information in your wallet. It does not represent your identity. It is what enables you to confirm or affirm or assert your identity. The card is not your identity. It's the unique number that cannot be given to any other person. That is your identity.
So what is the MasterCard component?
The MasterCard component is just one of the 13 functions that are on the card. We just opted to partner with MasterCard, Visa, Verve, and Genesis. And of these 4, we are just using MasterCard as the pilot. What we have currently is actually the pilot. The full rollout was expected to be a private sector support, participation, but that hasn't materialized. So some of the challenges that we are dealing with now, I went to Boko, there is no network, I went to Alausa 2 days. We are relying on 2,500 enrollment systems. The bank verification number is spread over 5,000 locations. They are using 10,000 units. Ours is just a pilot spread over 404 locations, including 202 local government areas. We are still to go to the remaining local government areas. And that's why very often when I hear people compare what we are doing with what INEC did, or what the bank verification number is doing, or what NCC is doing, I say compare likes with likes. Look at the budget for what they're doing, and look at the budget for what I'm doing,
okay.
and things like that.
You announced a deadline
some
time ago.
Yes.
Are you still sticking with that deadline?
Well, for now we are. And we are working towards making sure that the harmonization progresses greatly by that deadline. And we hope to have more centers open before that deadline.
The deadline is when?
Yeah.
January 9th.
January 9th. Basically, the idea is, and you know, we are typically deadline driven, if I can put it that way. If there's no deadline, the people keep wanting. This thing was September 1. We shifted it. The BVN has shifted twice, and they've had to do an extension for Nigerians in diaspora. Yes, and of course, local people are taking advantage of that to still enroll. Unless you begin to insist on some deadlines and on some mandatory use of the national identification number, people are not going to wake up and do what they're supposed to do.
But some people still
to make sure that we don't have the kind of rush that you've witnessed with the BVN, what we've done is to take advantage of His Excellency's directive, President Buhari's directive, to see how we can drive the harmonization. We are looking at 20 million data from BVN. We're looking at something in excess.
But you're collecting from BVN as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
we're harmonizing.
There's a back-end effort going on. So you probably haven't registered with us, but you've registered with the BVN, and we get your data.
So what if I register with the BVN? Do I need, sorry, with you, do I need to register with the BVN?
No, what happened
No,
is,
you have to. You see, if the BVN, if the normal flow would have been, the BVN would be taking the vitals from us and asking you for the basics that relate to account opening. But what we are now doing is to catch up. And to catch up, we are taking the vitals, the biometrics, the demographic that you have given to BVN. And then we give you the NIM based on those common areas, the common fields.
Okay, so some people who have done their BVN, you may be able to take their...
We will,
Yeah.
yes,
okay.
we will.
And issue them the NIM. And those that have done BVN and NIM, we will just set them aside as completed.
So what do you have to say about people who, you said when you get to the centers and get registered, you should have your number if there are no issues, as almost immediately.
Yes.
But some people, like Adelanwa here, is saying that he's enrolled since 2013 and yet to get the card.
It's the card, not the NIM,
not the NIM,
not the number. It's
the
card.
He's placing emphasis.
So there's a difference between getting the card and getting the name.
number is your identity.
Okay.
The card is an added value to the whole process. Once you have that number, then your identity is secured with us.
Okay.
Let me add very quickly that the reason why those who enrolled in 2012, and they're about 58,000, and by 2013, about an additional 1.1 million. The reason why we didn't give them their cards then was that we had a deliberate awareness campaign arrangement to first focus on the number. As a way of achieving that shift in mindset.
All right, we have to go. Hadiza Ali Dagabana is the General Manager, Inspectorate Regulatory and Compliance Department of NIMC. And Barrister Chris Onyemenam is the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of NIMC. Thank you both for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be back after the break. Don't go away.